I realized what I did was wrong.
Hey there, and something different. I wanted to get in this, I guess it's a friggin' ball container for ice and stuff, and hey, on a nice July day, why not? But as usual, I'm going to finish up my buddy here, Boston, because Boston and cranberry, and look at that shit. Not bad, huh? But as I was saying, Boston and cranberry, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But this comes from Deadline, and as always, I may be a little bit late to the party, but when you're busy and trying to pop out at least one video a day, it's not exactly easy. But this came out a couple years back with Tim Miller, the director of, well, Tim Miller did Deadpool, and then he went on to do Terminator Dark Fate. And nobody really knows but him in the studio, but there was a reason that he bowed out of Deadpool 2, and I heard it was he left, they didn't get rid of him. And as always, well, I'm going to start this off, and hey, enjoy the news. Ah, boy, that's strong, but good. So yeah, when this came out a couple years back, Tim Miller, he sat there and, as most people in Hollywood have been doing, is instead of having some humble pie, instead of apologizing, instead of saying, hey, maybe I fucked up a little bit, or things could have turned out better, or there could have been studio involvement, there's a million ways to handle a situation. What he did was be a jackass and hop on social media and then talk in interviews about the fans are the problem, and the fans are misogynistic, and the fans are blah, blah, blah. And no, Tim, no. The problem is the fucking movie sucked. It's simple as that. And this whole bullshit where, it's anti-women and stuff, and guys hate this shit. Yes, no doubt, action films, and yes, the Terminator franchise is targeted towards young men. However, bringing Sarah Connor back was the right thing to do. I have a mother, I have three sisters, I have female cousins. They all love Sarah Connor. They all liked Arnold and shit. And guess what? They all felt your movie fucking sucked. No difference than when that bullshit Elizabeth Banks Charlie's Angels came out. It bombed at the box office because even women didn't want to see it. It had nothing to do with, men hating fucking women or even women hating women. It was just a terrible fucking film. And it didn't bomb at the box office by any means, but recently, well, Top Gun Maverick came out and everyone saw it. Off the bat, you see Tom Cruise thanking the fans, giving praise, just admiration, just thank you guys for supporting my movie, and we appreciate you out coming to see this. And thank you, Tom, for thanking us, and that means a lot. But
exclusively and only in the theaters. So I hope you enjoy. We've made it for you.
So this was, coming out recently at Comic-Con, and it says Tim Miller on his attempt to revive Terminator franchise with Dark Fate. I was wrong from Comic-Con. Yeah, Tim, you were. The last time Deadpool director Tim Miller was at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, he was promoting his R-rated revival of the Terminator series, Terminator Dark Fate. There was a lot of hope around the film, and Miller was set to right the wrongs of previous installments. And before I go further, yeah, finally you bring Linda Hamill back after fucking Terminator 2, which took place in 1992. Edward Furlong was rumored to be back, and okay, Arnold, yeah, everyone expected Arnold to be in it, but you weren't sure how much, and with the whole aging Terminator, Genesis had its problems and all, but the concept, did work. And then I watched beforehand this 1 hour-long interview with Tim Miller and James Cameron, and James Cameron, he's want to get Linda Hamilton to come back, and when James Cameron endorsing this, okay, no problem. So there was a lot riding on this, and they were trying to find the formula of the recent Halloween franchise, where, we'll just, go to 1 and 2, we'll pretend every shitty sequel after that didn't exist. This is essentially Terminator 3. Okay, a lot of hope and a lot of hype.
Yeah, the hype was out of control.
And, boy, Miller was set to right the wrongs, so we're here. Per James Cameron's suggestion, he returned the sequel to a hardcore rating, because that was also an issue, is making Terminator PG-13 does not fucking work.
How about no?
Not only did he make sure Arnold Schwarzenegger was back, but Linda Hamilton too. The last time she starred in an action series was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. However, the pick tanked at the box office with $62 million domestic, $261 worldwide, the second lowest grossing sequel in the franchise after the original installment. At today's Collider panel, directors on directing, editor Steve Weintraub asked Miller, do you think there's a future in another Terminator movie, also a Jason Blum version? Miller quipped, I don't like your question, Steve. Terminator is an interesting movie to explore, but maybe we've explored it enough, Miller said. Miller said, I went in with the rock-hard nerd belief that if I made a good movie that I wanted to see, it would do well. And I was wrong. It was one of those fucking eureka moments in a bad way because the movie tanked. It didn't tank, said Weintraub. It made $300 million. Then why aren't people returning my phone calls? Responded Miller. before I go further, and that is something that, you know,
The numbers help, man. The numbers.
the general rule of thumb for anybody watching this is that it's come down to whatever your production is, you have to double the money just to even break even, and then you got profits. Now what happens? For argument's sake, okay, a movie costs like 200 million to make. Well, if it makes 400 million, it did good. Not really, because 200 million is just to make the fucking thing. Then you have marketing, you have advertising, you have when it goes to the theaters. Well, the theaters, they need their fucking cut too. So usually, from what everything I've gathered, movies need to make 3, if sometimes not 4 times their box office gross to actually, you know, make any kind of fucking money. So this right here, I mean, making 300 million, it may sound like a lot, but it really fucking wasn't, considering how high the fucking budget was. $300 million is pretty good for a movie that costs like 20 or 30 million. If a movie even costs 100 million, 300 is not that great. In fact, I didn't understand it at the time, but when Batman vs. Superman came out, very high profile movie. The movie did, like, you know, initially 800. I think the cap was 900 million. I'll look it up after this. But I was even reading this Forbes article was saying that if BVS didn't at least make $1 billion, the movie wouldn't be profitable. And you're like, $1 billion fucking dollars just to make a profit? That's how the entertainment industry changed. So $300 million would have been great back in the fucking 80s for Terminator 1, but not with, you know, 2019 and Dark Fate. Then showing optimism, I think if you make a lower cost Terminator, off the bat, yes, a good director and movie star could make it great. It would be what it could be made with sock puppets, and it could be awesome. They're continued. I'd like to do a Terminator CG. And right here, the original Terminator in 1984 was a cash cow, made for underreported $7 million and grossing $78 million worldwide. But that right there, it grossed 7, made 78. That's 10 times the fucking budget. So, and that's a fucking issue. It's like $78 million may not look like a lot, but when it's fucking 10 times what the actual movie costs, it is a lot of fucking money, considering. That's also the problem. This was back in 1984. Everybody expects it to be fucking Marvel and do $1 billion fucking plus. It all depends on how much money it does. But at the end of the day, you know, said Tim Miller, he's apologizing fucking now and saying, well, you know, I think maybe we've explored it enough. And I'm sorry, Tim, but I gotta say to that, bullshit.
Bullshit.
People have speculated that the Terminator franchise is done, that the story shouldn't be told, that possibly not even 2 was necessary, but it should have ended with 2. And I would always say that I understand that sentiment, but I also understand the fact that anything, and I mean anything, can be saved. Anything can be done with multiple sequels. Anything can come out with more sequels and everything and more stories to tell if you have people that care. The thing is, with Cameron, especially with the first one, he gave a shit. With part 2, he really gave a shit. And then going forward, he had other fucking projects like True Lies and, of course, Titanic. And then eventually, well, Avatar. Love it or hate it, it's his baby.
He loves it.
And this has become this common thing with Hollywood right now, is so many directors, they stop caring. It's just like, well, here's $100 million or here's $200 million. Just go make a movie. Let's get back to the box office, and nobody gives a shit. When people actually care, when they're hungry again, when the actors give a shit, when the writers give a shit, you can tell the quality. And even Lucas, you know, again, you know, you can sit there and say what you want about the prequels. I know they weren't everybody's favorite, but at least 1, 2, and 3, Lucas had a story to tell. Wasn't the best execution, but he was trying his fucking best. You know, he probably could use some fucking help, and just the care was there. Versus 7, 8, and 9, it's not about telling a good story and everything. Now with the Kenobi TV show and now the fucking 1900 spinoffs and everything, and the Mandalorian show, it's not about telling a good story. It's talking about, you know, making a fucking agenda, which is why fans are pissed off for it. Not just Star Wars. We'll keep going to this shit, you know? Lord of the Rings. It's Marvel. It's Doctor Who. All these franchises. These directors and producers and writers, nobody cares. They're too busy trying to be fucking activists instead of being storytellers. And this is why I'll keep saying it. Like, look at, you know, Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson has said in multiple interviews, and I'll make this in another video, that it wasn't his job to sit there and put his own personal politics, his own personal beliefs into the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He had one job, one simple job: to adapt work that was already there. And that's the fucking problem nowadays, is you're not trying to adapt, you're trying to improve upon, you're trying to modernize works that are 60, 80, 100 fucking years old that don't need a modern storytelling.
As filmmakers, as writers, we had no interest whatsoever in putting our junk, our baggage into these movies. We just thought we should take what Tolkien cared about clearly, we should take those and we should put them into the film.
But as I said, I will always believe that, you know what, make a lower budget Terminator, you could bring Arnold back, you could have Linda Hamilton back, you could have a good storyline. What you don't do is, off the bat, don't kill the main fucking character in the first goddamn fucking 4 seconds of the fucking movie. Killing John Connor was a stupid idea. And then pushing this whole narrative, like, well, now we have to have a new female protagonist, a new female version of Kyle Reese, bringing Sarah Connor back. And then when you do bring Sarah Connor back, she's not Sarah Connor. She's a fucking old, worthless, you know, freaking begrudging, just pissed off old lady. That just doesn't seem Sarah Connor. It just seems like, you know, somebody doing Sarah Connor cosplay. But, and like I said, last but not least, Tim, again, guys, apologize, say we could have did things better, we had good intentions, and just, we fucked up. It's amazing how often people want to say, hey, listen, you tried your best, dude, you failed, but at least you fucking tried. Now someone like me, I go out and see Terminator, and I'm like, damn, I don't like this movie. Well, it's not Terminator's fault that you're a fucking misogynist and you hate women. Okay, dude, I'd have a YouTube channel back then. Had I had a YouTube channel, I would say, you know what, guys, besides this movie fucking sucking, the director's telling me and everybody else who doesn't like this film that we're the issue. And like, you know what then, dude? Not fuck us, but fuck you.
Go fuck yourself.
So, lesson to fucking be learned, dude. I would hope that, hey, fucking going forward, bring it fucking back, do it fucking justice, and next time, if anything goes fucking bad, stop shitting on your fucking fans. All you're doing is just pissing people off that much more. And well, this is why Top Gun is doing fantastic, and Terminator keeps fucking bombing.
Tell you what you call the police. Get what you fucking deserve.
That's it as always, guys. Just got home, and boy, I gotta finish this. As usual, always making more videos, but you know the catchphrase. Let's get to it. I'm going back to work.